Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mercedes. In today's video, I have polishes for the month of March for Polish Pickup to share with you all.
Show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet.
Now, if you haven't heard of what Polish Pickup is, it's a monthly collab between indie makers. They come together every month and they create limited edition items. Most of us, of course, love Polish Pickup for the polish, for the actual polish, but there's a lot of other things that are available on the site as well. You have a lot of hand, foot care, nail care, cuticle oils. You have a lot of homemade items. Sometimes there's like cat toys, little trinkets, a whole bunch of stuff like that. Now these items, if I didn't say, are limited edition. So once they are gone for the month of March or your specific month, then that's it, they are gone. Now there's usually a cap, sometimes not all the time, but some products will have a cap, so the amount of product that is available. A good way to keep track of how much is left is through the Polish Pickup Facebook group. It is the Polish Pickup Pack, that's what it's called. Sometimes makers will add additional polishes or items to their cap if it does sell out. Not all of the time, but sometimes they do, and the Facebook group is a good way to keep track of that. Now, Polish Pickup is a pre-order, so once you place your order, you'll get your products within 3 to 4 weeks after shop closes. They open up the first Friday of every month and then close that following Monday. You do get a chance to wish list items, so usually that Sunday of the week that they open, wish listing or the website will be open for wish listing. Now, as always, I have a lot to share, so let's get into it. First up, we have BCB Lacquers, and this is Snap, Crackle, Pop, priced at $13.75, and there's a cap of 400 bottles, and it's inspired by an image of chronic inflammation, pain specifically. It is a sage green crowley leaning jelly with a strong purple-pink shifting shimmer, so you can definitely see the jelly vibes that this one is giving off. I did decide to do a third coat, just because I felt like it was going to give me the best coverage, the best color payoff. So I'm going to recommend 3 coats for everybody, 2 if you want more of an ethereal vibe, or honestly, this would probably be great if you used it as a topper if you're really into combining polishes. It will take away from your base because it's not technically a topper, so of course the shimmer is a little bit stronger than you would see in topper polishes, but this one was absolutely gorgeous in 3 coats. We get that stunning shifty shimmer, lots and lots of purple and pink. I see a lot of pink at extreme angles and a lot of purple at extreme angles as well. The glow from within is so beautiful. Thoroughly enjoyed this polish. Pictured are 3 coats of BCB Lacquers Snap, Crackle, Pop with a glossy top coat. Here we have Bluebird lacquer, and this is Scope It Out, priced at $13, and there's a cap of 500 bottles. It's inspired by microscopic peacock feathers. Now this is a mix of deep purple, cyan to blue, and magenta gold yellow shifting. It's shifting black base with magnetic pigments. And there's mini hollow and iridescent bar glitters in here. What really intrigued me with this polish were the bar glitters. So I remember opening the package and seeing it, being like, wow, it's so pretty. And then I noticed those bar glitters immediately, and I was like, wow, this is definitely different. And spoiler alert, I do have this on as a manicure, which I'm going to be sharing on Instagram at some point this weekend. But it was so pretty. I built it up in 2 coats. You can see on my middle finger I did do the velvet look, just so you guys can get an idea of how that would look. You can't really see the bar glitters as prominently as you could see with the cat eye effect, but you can definitely see that they're there. We obviously get a lot more purple with the velvet look because it's more not centralized, but it's more diffuse over the nail as opposed to being centralized with the magnet. I built this one up in 2 coats. It had an amazing formula for a magnetic polish. Sometimes magnetics, you need that 3rd coat because the pigments get pulled to the center, but this one was completely fine in just those 2 coats. Pictured are 2 coats of Bluebird lacquer, Scope It Out with a glossy top coat. Next up we have Cadillacquer, and this is Stellar Evolution, priced at $14, and there is a cap of 630 bottles. This is inspired by a photo that is magnified 10 times of embryonic stem cells coaxed into growing into brain cells. This one is described as a strong green to blue shimmer base with blue and purple reflective glitter. this one was such a pretty polish as well. Now keep in mind with reflective glitter, you are going to get a lot of texture, so you're going to want to use a glitter smoother and then your glossy top coat over it. I built this one up in 2 coats and I was very happy with the opacity that I achieved. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 for everybody. Maybe my longer nail friends might want to do 3 coats, but 3 thin coats. I felt that even though this had an amazing formula, it still gave me like low-key crelly vibes, but it could have just been because of the lighter color, the lighter shade of this polish. But those shifts from blue to purple were so pretty. The glow intensity and the reflective glitter in this polish are so strong that it almost looks like this polish was magnetized in velvet form. At least to me, that's what it looks like. But it is so pretty. This is going to be beautiful going into springtime and even in the summer. Pictured are 2 coats of Cadillacquer Stellar Evolution with the glossy top coat. Here we have cracked polish, and this is called Rusty Microbe, priced at $13, and there's a cap of 1,000 bottles. And this one is described as a metallic rusty copper shade that shifts from green to gold, and it has a dusting of red, green, gold shifting flakies. This one is definitely Pruggly vibes, and I'm all for it. It's actually a really interesting shade. We have that coppery metallic base, but then we are seeing the shifts. I see a lot of red looking directly down, and then on the full hand swatch, that's when you're going to see some of that green coming to life. Those flakies, they're definitely in the polish. They don't stand out at like first glance, but they're there, and they give so much depth and dimension and texture to the polish. Not texture as in like bumpy, just like, you know, it gives the polish some extra lovin'. Pictured are 3 coats of cracked polish, Rusty Microbe with a glossy top coat. Now we're moving on to Cuticula, and this is That's That Me Espresso, priced at $13, and there is no cap. It is inspired by colors of caffeine under the microscope. I am a caffeine junkie, so of course I love this inspo. I actually need to take a look at that inspo pic because I'm very curious now. But this one is described as a black and teal base with iridescent flakes that shift pink, orange, green, gold, along with small silver holographic flakies. So in true Cuticula fashion, I built this one up in 3 coats, and I was thoroughly happy with the 3rd coat. It really built up that beautiful dark base. Now we don't lose the pigment. We definitely see the teal. I definitely see the teal. I know with some polishes that are blackened, sometimes that other shade that is mixing in with that black shade gets lost, but we can definitely see that this is a teal base, right? It looks almost like a dark jean color. The flakies are absolutely glorious in this. They are definitely glowing. They're swimming in between each of the layers of polish, which is why I love Cuticula flaky polishes, because we do not lose the components. We do not shy away from the components when we are polishing each layer. And then of course the holographic flakies just add that extra sparkle to this polish. Pictured are 3 coats of Cuticula That's That Me Espresso with a glossy top coat. Here we have Glam Polish, and this is Powerhouse of the Cell, priced at $13.50, and this is a cap of 500 bottles. This one's inspired by mitochondria. This one is a blurple base with blue shimmer, blue holographic glitters, and purple reflective glitters. This one was super bright and super vibrant. Now because of the reflective glitters in here, you're going to want to use a glitter smoother and then your glossy top coat over it, because as I mentioned, reflective glitter can leave your polishes textured. I decided to do 3 coats for this polish. I'm going to say 2 to 3 for everybody. I am in love with this purple, oh my gosh, can't even talk, guys, with this blurple base. The reflective glitters is what's stealing my heart right now, because it just looks like such a dainty starry night. The shifts are very mysterious. We have a lot of darker shifts, but what is bringing the life back into this, even though it doesn't need life back into it because it's already life itself, but it is definitely those brighter reflective glitters. Like, you can tell the reflective glitters are purple. You can see the holographic glitters. It is just so sparkly. Such a pretty polish. Definitely a summer color. Definitely something where if you want to be bright and happy, this is a polish. And if you love purples, you're going to love this one too. Pictured are 3 coats of Glam Polish, powerhouse of the cell with a glossy top coat. Here we have Path Lacquers, and this is I'm Beautiful, I'm Mad, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap. It's inspired by an image of menstrual blood under a microscope. And Path Lacquers is hoping that this shade inspires you to remember your own power. It is a dark red jelly base filled with red holographic micro glitter and a subtle magnetic pigment that pulls blue and pink. I feel like I haven't used a magnetic polish or haven't swatched a magnetic polish from Path Lacquers in a while, or have I ever? I don't know. But I enjoyed this one. I ended up doing 2 coats and I was happy with that. I think if you have a longer nails, you may want to do that 3rd coat, but we get this really lovely, like plump, juicy jelly vibe on the nail as our base, and then the blue color, the blue pigment, just runs straight across that nail. Now, I didn't do this as a velvet look. I'm not sure how that would look like, but I honestly loved the cat eye when I magnetized it, just because of the contrast that we're getting with the more like a cherry sort of base, and then obviously the blue color. Pictured are 2 coats of Path Lacquers, I'm Beautiful, I'm Mad, with a glossy top coat. Here we have Glam Polish, and this is Happy Grass, priced at $14, and there's a cap of 250 bottles. This one's inspired by grass under the microscope. It is an electric lime with aurora shimmer, shifting iridescent flakes, black flakies, neon micro glitter, and reflective glitter. So we have a lot going on here. This reminds me of like some of the first glam polishes that I ever owned. I feel like I went ham and I bought so many like bright green polishes from Glam when I first heard of that brand, but I had an amazing formula. I did go in for 3, and for that 3rd coat I sort of just quickly hovered over. I just felt like some of my other nails needed that 3rd coat. All of the components worked so seamlessly together. I just used a glossy top coat. Honestly, like it didn't really dry down with too much texture, so I feel like a nice thick glossy top coat will do it for you. Sometimes when you get polishes that have too much components, it can get real gloopy and thick real quick, but I didn't have that issue with this polish. It was fantastic to work with. This is going to make a beautiful summer polish. Pictured are 2 coats of Glam Polish, Happy Grass, with a glossy top coat. Here we have Glisten Glow, and this is the Dust Bunnies, priced at $13.50, and there is a no cap. And Dust Bunnies is inspired by Dust Bunnies, of course. This one is described as a medium gray base polish loaded with color shifting shimmer that shifts purple, pink, blue, and green, and gold at extreme angles. And it also has silver hollow microflakes and silver reflective glitter. So again, another polish with lots of components, but they all work so well together. We get this lovely dusty shade, Dust Bunnies and dusty shade, and then the twinkle and the sparkle that we get with the reflective glitter. It is just so pretty. Everything comes together. Now I did do 2 coats, so I'm going to recommend 2 coats for everybody. It had a great formula. The reflective glitter, you may want to use a glitter smoother than a glossy top coat, or just a really thick glossy top coat. It wasn't like super textured, but enough that like you definitely need some, a thick top coat over it. I love how we're getting the lovely shifts of pink. I see some orange in there, even though it's not described. And then a little bit of that blue that we see at extreme angles. Pictured are 2 coats of Glisten Glow Dust Bunnies with a glossy top coat. Simply Rosettes, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 400 bottles. And it's inspired by a photo micrograph of oh goodness, I cannot pronounce this, guys. But it is on the Polish Pickup website. It is a magenta base with glowy pink gold shimmer and scattered holographic microflakes that sparkle like rubies. So the inspiration is ruby, but a specific type of ruby, it seems like, that I cannot pronounce. This had an amazing formula. I built it up in 2 coats. I'm going to say 2 coats for everybody. I love the in-between shade of pink and red that we're getting. It almost gives me like metallic vibes, and I think it's just because of the magenta base and the shimmer peeking on through. We are seeing a lot of sparkly polishes this month. I feel like this month for polish pickup is definitely a tough one. We have a lot of very pretty polishes and a lot of polishes that are going to be able to take us into spring and summer. This polish specifically, because of that wonderful glowy pink shade that we get, this is definitely going to be able to take us into spring and summer. Pictured are 2 coats of Jen Berry's Simply Rosettes with a glossy top coat. Here we have Jior Couture, and this one is called Take a Closer Look, priced at $14, and there is no cap, and it's inspired by a plant under the microscope. It is a violet, pink, blue, gold, copper multichrome base, and it has a violet, green, pink, gold multichrome velvet pull with those same colored multichrome flakies. So again, another gorgeous polish with lots of shifts and lots of fun colors, components, all the above. Now, when I typically magnetize my polishes, I always like to do each coat, but I didn't realize it was a magnetic polish on that first swatch, so that's why you guys didn't see that. The magnetic pull isn't very prominent or strong, but it's enough to give us a lot of depth, a lot of dimension, a lot of like movement throughout the nail. You can definitely see that the pull in the middle is definitely pulling more of like a green goldy sort of look, and then our base that we're working with is definitely more of a violet pinkish base. This one is definitely a gorgeous polish. It's going to take us into the springtime for sure. Pictured are 2 coats of Jior Couture. Take a closer look with a glossy top coat. Here we have Owl Lacquer, and this is a necessary weevil, priced at $13, and there is no cap, and it's inspired by a picture of dried thorax scales of the weevil Euphyllis under a microscope. It is a gray crelly filled with iridescent flakes that shift green, aqua, violet, and orange, yellow, and green. So lots of pretty shifty flakies. This one definitely has topper capabilities, which I didn't show it off that way. I showed it off as a full mani, so I did do 3 coats. If you want to pull this off as a full opaque manicure, I'm going to say 3 coats for everybody. Now you are going to get a very bouncy, squishy base that you guys are seeing here. It's like this very dusty light blue base. I know it's gray. We have that dash of gray, but I feel like with all of the flakies in here, that base is giving off like dusty light blue vibes. For the flakies, we are seeing lots of different colors. We see yellow, we see light green, we see a little bit of blue. I see some purple in there as well, leaning violet. So definitely a fun polish, and again, another beautiful spring polish. Pictured are 3 coats of Owl Lacquer, necessary weevil with a glossy top coat. Here we have polish, and this is Olivine. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Priced at $14, and there is no cap. It's inspired by a macro view of Ovaline basalt. This is a smoky violet base packed with metallic teal, purple, pink shifting shimmer. Ooh, polish. They just do shimmer polishes so well. You can see on that second coat we were getting amazing coverage for our base. I did decide to do 3 coats because I wanted to deepen up the base, and I was so happy with that. So I'm going to recommend 3 coats for everybody. This could potentially be used as a topper if you really wanted to combine polishes together, but you can see here that 3 coats got us to this finished look. We are getting a lot of purple vibes for our shifts. We see some pink in there. The glow factor is very intense. I love how polishes from this brand, they look ordinary in a bottle, and then you build it up in 3 coats and you get such a glorious shade on your nails. That's why I really enjoy polish, because the shimmer can look one way in the bottle and it looks like that in your nails, but it's just something extra. Pictured are 3 coats of polish, Olivine with a glossy top coat. We are moving on to painted polish, and this is Broccoli Biology, priced at $13, and there is a cap of 300 bottles. It's inspired by a purple broccoli floral image created using a scanning electron microscope. It is a lavender magenta crelly with emerald green metallic flakies. The contrasting look, love it, chef's kiss. The purple, violet, lilac color that we're getting, love these tones. I especially love them on my skin tone. I said this plenty of times before, but I fell in love with this sort of lilac lavender shade as a cream version years and years ago when I first got into polish, and it's just sort of been a part of my like inner deepest heart with this shade. Even though I don't wear it as often, it is a color that I do really love. But I love how we get a nice contrasting look with these green metallic flakies. It does give me like broccoli vibes on like a pink, not pink, but like a purple tablecloth. Like I can see broccoli just scattered everywhere on a purple tablecloth or a pink tablecloth. However you want to look at that base color, but this one was so lovely. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. And I'm sorry I don't have a still photo. I couldn't find one pictured because it's somewhere in my camera roll and my brain just wasn't functioning when I was trying to find the picture. Pictured are 2 coats of painted polish, broccoli biology with the glossy top coat. Here we have Penelope Luz, and this is butterfly wings, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 700 bottles. It is a salmon orange gold magnetic with blue shimmer and a blurple base. This one you can see on the first coat. We do go on sheer, but we're getting a lot of the pigment centralized in the middle with our magnetic pull. It is very strong and very prominent. We can see that like salmony pink sort of shade in the middle. On the second coat, we build up that blurple base. I did 2 and I was fine with that, but I'm going to say 2 to 3 for everybody if you have longer nails or if you prefer a darker base. But we get such a lovely strip of color along the nails. Again, we get more contrasting polishes. I love a good contrasting polish. It just makes such a statement on the nails, and this one was so effortless to work with, especially with the magnet. Pictured are 2 coats of Penelope Luz butterfly wings with a glossy top coat. Here we have Polished for Days, and this is Wishing on Dandelions, priced at $13.50, and there is no cap, and it is of course inspired by dandelions. It is a blackened raisin base with a rose gold yellow-green metallic shifting iridescent microflaky shimmer. This one was so lovely to work with. We are getting lots and lots of lovely shimmer on the nail. So we get like this very chocolatey brown base. So you can definitely see the black base. Then we see that raisin color, which is like, how would you guys call raisin? Like a dark brown, purple? Whatever the case, I see a nice chocolatey base. And then we are getting peaks of lighter colors for our shifts. So we see that rose gold, we see a little bit of pink. The shimmer is so sparkly. It almost looks like large particle shimmer, but it's because it's microflake shimmer. So that's why it looks a little bit larger and a little more sparkly. But love this one. Something that I would wear now as I am going through like my wintry, more grungier sort of polishes. Pictured are 2 coats of Polish for Days, Wishing on Dandelions with a glossy top coat. Here we have Owl Lacquer, and this is called Cellular, priced at $13, and there is no cap. It is inspired by a cross-section of celery dyed and put under the microscope. Very interesting. Again, I need to see this inspo pic. It is a light orchid crelly leading jelly with cells, air quotes, of iridescent green, blue, pink, and gold flakes in a splattering of black flakies. So Owl Lacquer and their flaky polishes, they just do it good, they do it right, and my goodness, if this is not stunning, I don't know what you're looking at, because wowzers. The flakies are just popping off of my nail. They are glowing from within. We are not losing that jelly base. We see a lot of pink. I did go in for 3 coats because it's definitely a more crully jelly type of vibe, but I absolutely adored this one. And I'm not big on pink polishes, guys, but this one was beautiful. Pictured are 3 coats of Owl Lacquer Cellular with a glossy top coat. Here we have Sassy Sauce Polish, and it's called It's Tricky. I'm already laughing because it's inspo, but it's priced at $13 and there's a cap of 1,000. It's inspired by a photo of an STD. Oh, these inspos, sometimes they just get me. It is a blackened violet magnetic with a glowy red purple shimmer and hollow dusting. This one had a fantastic formula. You can see on that second coat, we are building up that base. Again, we're seeing another blackened base, right? But this one's a blackened violet. So we see the depths and the dimensions with the blackened base, but we're not losing the violet pigment. And then the pull that we're seeing, I'm seeing a lot of like purple and violet. And then as for the hollow dusting, right, the red and the purple shimmer, I'm definitely getting a lot of red. I can see that at extreme angles. I'm going to recommend 2 to 3 coats for everybody. I was happy with 2 on my shorter nails, but my long nail friends, you may want to do a 3rd coat, just because with magnetic polishes, like I said before, we can have that pigment sort of, or the polish sort of centralized in the middle because of the pull, and then we can lose our pigment in the base. But beautiful shade, very sparkly, very glowy. Pictured are 2 coats of a Sassy Sauce Polish. It's Tricky with a glossy top coat. And our last polish is from Zombie Claw. This is called Ready for My Close-Up, priced at $13.50, and there's a cap of 300 bottles. It is a deep violet base with electric red gold shimmer. So we can see on that first coat we go on sheer, but on the second coat we build up beautifully. Now I felt like I needed a 3rd coat after this just to sort of fill in any of like the little patches that I had on my nails. So it could just be how I was polishing. So I'm going to say 2 to 3 for everybody. But on that 3rd coat, wow, we get this lovely, lovely look on the nail. We have the red shimmer, the red gold shimmer just all throughout the nail, like all throughout. We get this lovely glass look. The deep color for this base, the deep violet base, is like engulfing your nail, but you're still able to see that shimmer just bouncing throughout the nail. It is so pretty. It's definitely a polish I would like to squeeze in now, and even honestly, like for the summertime when I get tired of wearing bright polishes, that red gold shimmer is just gonna do it for me for summertime when I just need something a little bit darker and a little more vampier. Pictured are 3 coats of Zombie Claw, ready for my close-up with a glossy top coat. Now I have a lot of favorites / standouts. I have 9, which is a lot, but I thoroughly enjoyed these. I would pick them up if I didn't get them to swatch for you guys. So let me just start off so we can get through this. The first one is from Cadillacquer. My nails are horrible. They are so chipped. I need to do them, but I'm not going to put a manual on them just yet because I'm going to be doing some swatching. But Cadillacquer, this is Stellar Evolution. I love, I'm going to hide my nails so you guys can see, but I absolutely loved the finish. Of course, reflective glitter, you know I love sparkly things. The glow is so gorgeous. I was able to build it up in a few coats and it wasn't thick or gloopy. Sometimes polishes that have reflective glitter can tend to have a lot of, not a lot, but they can tend to be really thick and difficult to work with. Didn't have any issues with this one. Really enjoyed it, and I think it's gonna be beautiful for spring. I have Gin and Berries, and this is Simply Rosettes. Just a beautiful shade of pink. I feel like there's some purple in there too. Usually, typically, I don't go for pink polishes, but something about this one was just calling to me. It is such a pretty shade, and I love all the components in here. I have Polished for Days, and this is Wishing on Dandelions. This was again another beautiful one. It had Pruggly vibes, which I love. You know, I love my Pruggly polishes. So, of course, I was going to throw this into my faves or standouts. It is very, very shifty. You guys can't see it like looking at the bottle now, but me looking at it, I can see all of the colors. I can see purple and yellow and green and pink. So it's definitely shifty, but it gives me the Pruggly vibes that I love, but with some color. I have Bluebird Lacquer, and this is Scope It Out. This was so different than a polish that I've worked with in a long time because of those bar glitters in there. And I know a lot of people get freaked out with the bar glitters because they think of hair, but I didn't think of that with this polish. Honestly, I loved it more in its velvet form when you magnetized it in a velvet effect as opposed to the regular cat eye. So I'll definitely be doing it that way. I know you don't see the bar glitters as much as if you did it the cat eye way, but you can still see them. I prefer the velvet look when I magnetize any polishes. I have Rogue Lacquer, and this is cellular. Rogue Lacquer and flaky polishes are just like right up here. Always an amazing job. I feel like this is going to be beautiful for spring. The flakies that are in here are really my favorite type of flakies. They just have, I don't know, they have like this look to them, the color, everything, and then it contrasts really well against the lighter shade. I have Glam Polish. This is Powerhouse of the Cell. Again, another reflective, but it's a very bold shade. And it has slight shifts to it, which I really loved. But what I loved most about this was the vibrancy of the color. I have Polish, and this is Olivine. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Just a really, really pretty, soft, ethereal color, but it has a lot of shifts. I feel like I can wear this on its own or even build it up. Or not build it up, but use it as like a topper or combine it with another polish. Cuticula, and this one is That's That Me Espresso. I love this one. Cuticula also is great when it comes to flaky polishes. I typically build them up in 3 coats, typical Cuticula fashion, but we never miss any of the components with those coats as we're painting. So sometimes when you add a 3rd coat, it can take away from certain components that are in the polish, but not with Cuticula's polishes from my experience anyways. And then the last one is from Zombie Claw. This one, of course, it's your dark vampy shade, but it has these beautiful shifts in there. So like this maroon, this violet blue shade, a little bit of yellow. I really enjoyed this one. I feel like I can squeeze this in now. We're not gonna probably hit spring temperatures where I live until like May. Probably May. So I definitely can rock this one still. All right, everybody, that is all that I have for you today. Let me know what you are planning on wish listing or picking up for sure. Like, what are your must-haves? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.